Like, come on, you know? And some of the things that I was studying to be able to find, how to make it inevitable for me not to do 30 million is study this concept called escape velocity. And you have the sauna, which is hot right now. If you don't have a daily exercise that almost feels like it's meditative, you're not going to make it. Actually, that might be one of the most important lessons. And then you got this other section. What? I'm no dummy. I see success. I emulate a little bit of success. That's how I got here in the first place. So, cheers. Welcome to another YouTube video. Today, I'm doing something pretty cool. I rented this property since we're needing to shoot some content for the launch of our platform. And we've been here for, this is going to be the second night. And I thought I'd give you guys a tour while also giving you guys some more lessons from my 27 lessons to 8 figures since I turned 27. Then I wanted to launch a series for lessons that led me to making my first 8 figures. For those that don't know, 8 figures is $10 million. We've done almost 15 million in the last 3 years with clientacquisition.io. So let's give you guys a tour. And then as we get to a cool spot, I'm going to give you a lesson. And then, yeah. First spot is on this first level, you have 2 bedrooms here and the other one there. They're pretty sick. I did not know of this property in Montreal. It's actually in Montreal, which is really sick. I don't know why they don't promote it as much, but I think it's because they're trying to avoid for people to come here and do a bunch of parties, do a bunch of chaos stuff. But I think if you're seeing this property and you want to rent it on Airbnb, I think it's at Doxa House, D-O-X-A House in Montreal in Old Port, which is really sick. They have parking in Old Port, so you won't have to struggle with parking. I used to live in Old Port and I would get a ticket every 2 hours, multiple times a day. I did end up losing my license because I forgot to pay. Actually, I didn't forget to pay. I didn't want to pay that ticket. You have the same bedroom here. So we're not going to go through that because it would end up being a pretty long tour. Let's go upstairs. You have a level below. You have the second layer or level, and then you have another one, and then you have the terrace, which is really sick. So if I'm out of breath, it's because it's been a long day. Let's go. Now, I think the thing about this for those, you're probably going to notice once we check this out, but this actually used to be a church and they converted it into this property and they killed it. But let's see what this looks like. Like, come on, this is pretty sick. Once I saw this, my brother actually found the property. I didn't necessarily find it. He found it on TikTok, and this, in my opinion, is what sells you. But actually, I prefer downstairs at the pool and the whole sauna and everything. But this is pretty sick to see. But the problem with such a property is that it's so huge that you can't really turn it into a homey vibe, because it's so big. Like, let's say, look at the TV. The TV is there. The kind of like somewhat living room space is there. You have the fireplace there. You have amazing dining table here, but it still has so much space, so much room to fill up that no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to fill it up, right? So for the first lesson that I'd like to share in this video, it's probably going to be lesson 7 from the series, is something that I wrote on my Instagram and my newsletter, which is Escape Velocity All 2026. So many people will set goals this year to, let's say, for me, my goal is to actually do $30 million in a single year. I've never broken past $10 million in a single year in cash collected, but this year I want to do 30 million. And when I set goals for myself, what I do is I try to come up with all the variables that could go wrong, and then I find a solution for all those failure scenarios. And some of the things that I was studying to be able to find, how to make it inevitable for me not to do 30 million is study this concept called escape velocity. So when a rocket is trying to go out of space, it has to hit 25,000 miles per hour. If it hits 24,999 miles per hour, it gets pulled back down to Earth. So for most people, when they're setting their goals, they just say, oh, I want to make my first $1 million, or I want to get to my first $10,000 a month, or I want to get to my first $1 million a month. But what they don't do is the homework behind finding, like, what is the variable that makes it inevitable for you not to hit it? And for a rocket to be able to break through the atmosphere and get into space, the variable that makes it inevitable for that not to happen is its speed. But for that speed to even exist in the first place, it has to have the right engine, it has to have something that protects it from exploding on its own, and it also has to have the right thing that guides it. So for your goals this year, what is going to be the variable? What is it going to be all the inputs you need to put in to actually make it inevitable for you not to hit your goals? But don't just treat every goal as if it's something that you choose and that it just somehow manifests itself or happens. It's not magic. You have to earn your dreams and become deserving of them. If you can do that, then it's inevitable for you not to achieve your goals, right? But I already said what my $30 million a year inputs are going to be, and that's probably why I'm even here in the first place, spending my entire Sunday literally shooting content. So are you doing the work that it requires for you to achieve your goals or not? So let's go to the next spot. All right, so you have the kitchen right here. We haven't really cooked much. The person who was introducing, kind of like giving us a tour of the property, he was like, you guys are probably not going to cook. And I was like, I found that funny because yes, we don't necessarily cook in here, but we definitely are cooking this entire weekend. Bedroom there, another bedroom here. Actually, this property has this main house, and then it actually has a guest house. I slept in the other guest house. I'm going to show you guys later, but let's go upstairs for now. All right, so we had a whole setup here, lights, and I had my chair there where I was shooting everything. You guys are probably going to see the content, but I love this view. It's pretty beautiful. All right, guys, so for lesson 8, I want to share something that I discovered when I was running my first agency, which was an appointment setting service. So before I started selling that service, I was actually running an advertising agency, which I struggled to actually scale past $10,000 a month. And one of the things that I learned when I pivoted from advertising to appointment setting was appointment setting was something that a lot of businesses online were struggling with. And the second thing is the price point at which I sold it was so affordable for the people that are struggling in business that even they made sense of buying my thing, even if they didn't have a lot of revenue in their business. So what that taught me is if you're launching your first offer and you're doing it through a done-for-you model, actually doing the work for people, try to find something. It doesn't matter even if the avatar isn't making a lot of money. Try to find something that they are struggling to fix and do on their own. Give it to them at the price point where it's a no-brainer for them. Once you have found that product market fit or service market fit, then I want you to productize this service and sell it as an asset. That's what I did. I started with first validating that people were willing to pay for a lead generation and appointment setting service with VAs. And I started building and releasing that same department. Instead of owning it in my business, I would actually plug and play it in theirs, in their business, and they would buy for the future value of their team, of the processes that I would actually implement in their business. And something that I was struggling to scale past $700 a month, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month per client, people were now paying me $10,000, $15,000 or more for the same thing that they were complaining when they paid $1,000 a month for. So that's my lesson 8. I think that go in any market, figure out what people can't live without, give it to them at a cheap fee every month through Done For You. Then once you're done, pivot to asset-based sales and build it in their business. And of course, now you can use AI, so you don't really need even to use humans anymore. You can just build a bunch of AI agents and say, hey, I'll plug them in your business. All right, let's go upstairs. All right. All right, so you have a bedroom here, bathroom, 2 single beds, I believe. This property, I don't know how many people you can fit in here, but if you ever like, I know they're not necessarily allowing people to bring crazy groups of people here, but if you were to find a property that has, I've rented a lot of places in every place in the world, but this has the most amount of bedrooms and room, so it's really exciting. It made me think about the first time we went to Marbella and we rented this $15 million villa. It had bedrooms everywhere, right? It actually made me think about that spot. It made me miss it. So this is our version of it in Montreal. So shout out to the owners of this property. You guys killed it. All right, guys. As you guys can see, this is the rooftop. It actually wraps around even that side, which is sick. It's an old port. I used to live in that building right there, which is pretty sick. And then you have another bathroom here. Renting this property during summer would be pretty sick. I think winter is a little bit more complicated because you're not in the vibe to be outside, enjoy everything that this property can essentially offer, but it's pretty beautiful. Now, we're gonna bring you guys to my favorite spot where we actually spend the most amount of time in the last 24 hours in this property. Let's go. All right. Let's go. All right, guys, so you have the jacuzzi vibes. You got a nice little pool out there. You have a little gym section right here. If you want to do some bike. If you're a gym bro and you only do arms, they got you right here. You're good to go. Maybe you want to do a little bit of abs, but maybe stop with the wine first. And for me, the part that, so I've been, hitting the gym pretty consistently the last few months. Right now I'm weighing at like 195 pounds. On New Year's, I was 200 pounds, which is insane. But one thing that I always like to do at the end of each gym session is hit the sauna. And here they have steam room, which is actually on right now. I was about to use it. And you have the sauna, which is hot right now. Fuck. But I've been enjoying a sauna sesh after every single gym session, I'm hitting the sauna as if my life depended on it. And the reason why I do it is because when I'm in the sauna, I get into this state where I get to analyze every single file in my brain, every single problem, every single objective of mine. And it's almost like I get to compartmentalize everything. Because as a CEO, one of the hardest things to do is all the inputs that come into your brain at every single day can literally become overwhelming. So if you don't have a daily exercise that almost feels like it's meditative, you're not going to make it. You're gonna one, for sure, you're gonna burn the fuck out. But secondly, you're not going to be able to make the best decision. So actually, that might be one of the most important lessons. If your goal is to build something great, you have to understand that your life is not going to be easy. And it is really going to be tough on you mentally, spiritually, physically. So if you do not make time for yourself to be present and fully take everything in and then let everything out, you're going to literally implode. And that's where you see a lot of founders never really make it because they never built a daily discipline to flesh out all the drama and all the pressure that they essentially sucked up in their business, right? So lesson number 9, make time for yourself, go in the sauna and sweat out all the fucking bullshit, sweat out all the pressure, and then take a cold shower, get a great night of sleep, wake up again, and go to war. Let's go. All right, guys, now it's time to go check out the second home or the guest house, however they want to call this. And that's actually where I slept. I think I said that at the beginning of this video. Now let's go see where I slept. Let's go. All right. All right, they got a pretty tight parking space. So if you're backing up and getting out is not the easiest part, but it works. All right. All right. Bathroom, washing machines, drying machine. All right, this is good. And then you got this other section. What? This is pretty sick. This is unbelievable. It's like you're getting two home for one, you know? It's pretty crazy. And then you have these windows. So the lighting actually in this property is infinitely much better than the other one. So yeah, this morning I got up from downstairs, got up, tried to drink water. The water here though is not as cold as in the other property. I don't know why. Um, at my home, I really like to get a glass of water and ice in it before going to bed because I'd be thirsty throughout the night. I don't fucking know why. And if there was one thing that I missed in the night of sleeping here was cold water throughout the night to sip on. All right, I haven't actually checked out the other bedroom, so let's see. Yeah, this property is unbelievable. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I have not even been here. So beautiful. If I end up having like 30 babies, I'm gonna have to put a price. Have to put a down payment on this home. I think someone sent me a DM yesterday saying that this actually on the market for like $8 million, which for what it is, not bad. You know, I could consider it. And then you have this little bedroom here. If you want to sleep on the floor, little bed. Oh wow, bed quality too is pretty sick. TV, they have more TVs than all the homes combined on this block, right? It's pretty crazy.
It's even bigger
Than the other one.
TVs,
Yeah,
and the whole place.
it's crazy. All right, guys, so before we go in the bedroom downstairs, I want to just drop a quick little gem for what I believe is going to be the best business model to pursue, and that's going to be lesson number 9, right? Ever since we launched our AI platform, Cook AI, I've discovered this insight because for those who don't know, our platform is modular. There is one part which is around finding the truth, and then there is a second part which is an operating system that essentially can create assets. You have a bunch of agents that can build offers, that can build funnels, that can build your ads where you can find viral content and then replicate those viral content literally with a single prompt. And what it has pushed me to start focusing on putting myself in the shoes of the entrepreneur 10 years from now, right? What is that entrepreneur going to be doing? How is he going to be creating value for society and in return creating a lot of wealth for themselves? And I discovered that the future is going to be made up of entrepreneurs who are essentially AI architects. And the only thing they're going to be doing is they let AI find the truth and then they let a bunch of AI agents cook. So your only job is going to become to orchestrate and guide a bunch of AI agents and just sit back and relax, right? So in the future, in my opinion, especially now that content is super valuable, your number one job is let AI find the truth, find insights around how to scale different companies in different industries, do content around that. And then once businesses start liking your content because you're sharing them playbooks on how they can scale, and they're going to be like, hey, can you do this for me? You're going to be like, of course I can. And then you just send it to a bunch of AI agents on your account, on one sub account on Cook. Say, hey, please execute on this playbook that we found from the Truth Engine with all the other agents. And that will also happen instantly. So I think that the future of businesses is that, at least those who do growth consulting, those who run growth agencies, is that AI is going to do most of your work, the research and the asset building. So if I was to start from scratch, that's the only thing I would be doing. Get access to one great AI platform that has all these insights and all these agents, and then go to businesses and pick the best market. Actually, I'm not going to pick the best market. I'm going to let AI pick the best market for me, right? But yeah, now let me show you guys where I slept. So initially, I chose this bedroom because I was like, it is not going to be bright. But what I ended up discovering is that there's a little window in there, and then there's also a door behind my brother. So the light actually comes in. So it's like just light everywhere, but it was a smooth light. When I used to live in Nuns Island, and I lived on like the 30th floor, there was so much bright light. But this here, since it's like in the basement down, the light is much softer. But here is the bed. Uh, pretty amazing bed actually. Probably almost as good as mine at home. Actually, it might be a little bit better. Okay, and then you have bathroom. You know, if you want to take in here, have a good fun, want to have a nice little standing shower. I didn't take a shower in here. Only was taking showers in the other home, but this is pretty sick. And then what I really love is you also have the fireplace. So if you wanted to turn on the fireplace, you would just get this thing going up. But what I love, and if I was to stay here longer, I would love to sit here. Like, I love having zero noise when I'm cooking. I don't care to have a window. I don't care to have anything. Give me headphones, give me a desk, give me my computer, and then let me cook. And as you guys can see, the only window in here is that little one. And we found the pillow upstairs. I don't know who put it there. I think they didn't want any light, but um, I could picture myself cooking right here. All right, I think that's pretty much, guys. That's pretty much it. Let me see if I have any other lesson that I could live with you guys. Okay, so last lesson, maybe to wrap it up. As you guys know, we're launching our AI platform, Try Cook AI, and I just want to define what this platform, why this platform exists in the first place. For the longest time, when I got in business and I tried to win so many times, I did door to door. I did drop shipping. I went even to the lens of Amazon FBA, right? Trying to get products from China, get them shipped. Shout out to people who are still running this business model, because with all the regulation and shit, it's probably not easy for you guys. But I also did agency. Then I did the consulting.coms of the world with Sam Ovens. Then I did the Nick Cosman on outbound prospecting, building remote sales teams. And still, I couldn't make a single dollar online. And I only started making money when I quit my job, right? And went all in and said, hey, this 30K year job is costing me $30,000 a month. That was my reasoning. And I was pretty young. I was 22. So, when's the best time to actually go all in? It's when you're fucking young. You can always get a $30,000 a year job. Actually, now I'm not so sure, because AI is cooking everything. Back then, I could have gotten another job, but I was in customer service. Today, I'm sure that the e-commerce company that I was working for, or other brands, would rather pay an AI $300 a month to do my job, and it will do it infinitely better. It won't be sick because it has a hangover on a weekend. It won't be late for work. It will be so. Today, in today's day and age, even jobs are not secure anymore, right? But but when I did quit, I had my back against the wall and I had to make it work. So I ended up finding VAs to do outreach on my behalf. And what that meant is before, when I used to go through courses and didn't take action, I would blame the courses, I would blame the coaching programs. But it's never about the information. It is about what is the behavior that you put in place once you have the information. Who's taking action on that new knowledge? I realized that I wasn't disciplined enough to actually put in the work, so I hired someone else to do the work for me. And that got me what? My first client. 60 days, 90 days later, I made my first $10,000 a month. 4 months later, I made my first 30 grand a month. And what that taught me is that success is less about knowledge for your first 10 grand, multiple six figures a year. It is more about execution on the knowledge you already have. So if you want to win and you're not already winning, you're not executing on the knowledge you already have that's free online. So our first idea with our AI platform was, how can we build agents that do work for our clients, that do work for dreamers and entrepreneurs who actually want to win? That's what we started with. But then we realized that even with all the leverage to execute on something, if you don't have the right strategy, you're going to fail. So then we realized that, okay, can we leverage AI to find the best truth on what works in any market at any time? Not trust someone on YouTube, like you're saying me talk right now. Not trust someone who said, "Oh, I just rented this $3 million Bugatti," or "I just bought this $3 million Pagani," or "I just rented this $100 million yacht in Euro summer." Don't trust them. They're not that smart. Trust me. They're just content creators. But trust the market. Trust the person who's spending $50,000 a day on ads, pushing a specific offer into a specific market. Trust their VSL. Trust their sales process. Trust their business model, because it might be making them $1 million, $5 million a month. If that's working for them, guess what? That same insight, that same offer, that same market, those same ads, those same VSLs will most likely work for you. And what did we build? We built a truth engine that can go scrape the entire internet of everything that's currently working in every single market. And when I say every single market, I mean every single market. We had some guy who built consumer AI apps use our truth engine to find demand in the niche of mothers that just had a baby. And you could literally see a spike in the search and the interest in a specific offer when it comes to fitness. And then you could also see ads of people targeting that niche. So he used the AI platform, this truth engine, to find what's working, and he could just simply use the next set of AI agents to actually replicate what works. So the future is fucking bright if you want to be an entrepreneur. And I'm glad that we've built the infrastructure and the AI platform to allow every natural born leader out there to be able to actually make their dreams come true, because I would have prayed to have what we've built when I started out. And it is now live. If you want access to it, click the link below. Hopefully we've built a proper website for it, and you can sign up for our next cohort and change your life. But cheers. Let's get to work. It's going to be an amazing year. Change your life, and come drink a glass of wine with me, maybe in summer time, 2026, or maybe in Montreal. And then we maybe rent this place again and talk about winning. Ciao.